Hi guys, welcome in. I'm Alejandro Cano. I am the admissions counselor here for North Houston at Baylor University. Um, this is a great opportunity. Again, Premiere is just an amazing opportunity to go through a bunch of different academic sessions, learn more about something, whether it's a full-blown interest, whether you want to do it as a minor, kind of pick the brain of the people in the department, of the schools. Like, so truthfully, use this experience, use our awesome Q&A feature to go ahead and ask us questions throughout the presentation. I know that here at School of Music, they're going to try their best to get through this presentation so we can get a little bit of a Q&A at the end, because I know that's what you guys want to hear about. But again, use this awesome opportunity, have fun with it. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Dr. Kelly Hollingsworth and Miss Callan Monroe.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Premiere. We're excited that you're here and interested in the School of Music. My name is Callan Monroe. I'm the admissions and recruiting coordinator for the School of Music.
Kelly Hollingsworth. I'm an assistant professor of music education.
So we're just going to run through quickly some information about ourselves so that we can save more time for the Q&A at the end. What brought me to Baylor as a student? I'm a Waco, Texas native, so I grew up around Baylor. I could go anywhere that I want. I had so many options, but I decided to stay in my hometown and come to Baylor because it's a small campus, a smaller community that's really focused on faith. So I knew that if I came to Baylor, I was going to meet a really special group of people who shared the same interests as me with my faith, and I would be able to make friends quickly that I would have for the rest of my life. And as I got so attached to it that after I went and I taught for 3 years prior or after graduating from Baylor, I came back and worked for Baylor because it's such an awesome place to be. And I still have my friends and my contacts in community, and even some of them came back and worked for Baylor as well. So that's what brought me to Baylor in 2 different ways.
That's great. The job is what brought me to Baylor. I do love it here. It's a really special group of students and people to work with and for. My area of research is elementary music education. Prior to this, I taught elementary music for 17 years in Alabama. So if anybody's from Alabama, pop it up in the chat. Okay, Callan, what do you love most about living in Waco?
My favorite part about living in Waco, this has been true for my whole entire life, is that I can get anywhere I want in 15 minutes, regardless of the traffic on I-35. So any store I want to go to, any restaurant I want to go to, anything I need to get done, I can do it in 15 minutes or less, or at least get there in 15 minutes or less, which is amazing.
It is amazing. And you're close enough to 2 major cities. You're an hour and a half from DFW or Austin. And while Waco does have an airport and I love it, sometimes it might be better if you fly out of one of those other airports. That's a nice thing. I enjoy the nature in Waco. Baylor's on a river. So there's a beautiful river walk that can take you all the way from campus, a couple miles down to Cameron Park. The closer you get to Cameron Park, there are beautiful statues. It's a little statue garden of animals that you might find at the zoo, which happens to be my favorite tourist spot, the Cameron Park Zoo. And my favorite local restaurant is The Mix, which is really close to my office. It's walking distance from campus. They serve salads and vegetables and sandwiches, and it's just really fresh.
They also have pizza. So if you're not health conscious and you want to get some good food, they also have pizza, which is great, and burgers. My favorite local restaurant is called, oh man, what's it called? We just talked about
Milo's.
Yeah, it's called Milo's. It's a farm to table restaurant, so they have really fresh ingredients and kind of obscure menu items that you wouldn't normally think of. But all the ingredients are really fresh, and their menu changes often, so you don't always have to go back and get the same thing if you're adventurous in your eating. Yeah.
So the School of Music is it's big, yet it's small. So Baylor University has between 16,000 and 17,000 students, and 375 of those are School of Music majors. And of the 300 undergrad students, nearly half of those are music ed majors. However, we have other majors that we're going to talk about on the other slide. You can also be a music minor, and you can also just participate in music ensembles or take some music classes for fun without being a music major. We do have a large full-time faculty gathering of 65, and we are a nice size that we can offer really specialized courses. For example, I teach music in the elementary school every semester, which is unusual at a lot of schools. Usually that course is only offered in the fall, and then an advanced a choir course is offered in the spring. And I will say that my largest class, which is Intro to Music Ed, it caps at 19 students. And I know all of my students' first and last names, like within 3 days. My other classes capped at about 10 students. So our class sizes are really small.
I think overall in the School of Music, the class ratio is 15 students for every teacher. So Baylor is small enough to where you get a very personalized educational experience. The undergraduate degrees that Baylor School of Music offers is you can get a Bachelor of Music with Applied Music, which is a performance degree. We just like to call it something fancier, but you can get a Bachelor of Music in Performance, church music, where you'll learn how to write church music, read church music, teach church music, composition, music history, and literature go together. You can get a Bachelor of Music in Theory and in Piano Pedagogy. You can also get a Bachelor of Music Education. And this degree is really special and stands apart from other universities because we prepare you to take the state certification exams, and we require you to pass those exams before you graduate Baylor, which is something that not many other schools will prepare you for. But in addition, ensure that you pass those exams so that you are ready to teach as soon as you graduate. Our music education majors are treated the same as a performance major. So you will study with an applied professor no matter what your degree is. If you're a music performance degree or a music education degree, you're going to study with an applied professor as an undergraduate, which is unusual. But it's because our School of Music and university are smaller that we can offer you an individualized and high level of education. You can also get a Bachelor of Arts in Applied Music, which is again the performance degree. And you can also get a Bachelor of Arts in Academic music, which is where you'll study more theory, more music history, and less on the performance side of things. You can get a Bachelor of Arts in Church Music as well. You can get a secondary major in music, which means you come out of Baylor University with 2 degrees. You can get a Bachelor of Music, Bachelor of Music, but then you can also get a Bachelor of anything else in the university, biology or history or English or any other degree that you want, really. So I will say that if you do get a secondary major in music, most students will choose to get their major in performance because our education degree requires so many classes that the performance degree is the one that's more doable with a secondary major in something else. And an audition is required to major in music. And so I also wanted to tell you at this point in time that if you want to be a music major, you have to apply to Baylor School of Music and to Baylor University. You have to be accepted into both schools in order to be a music major. It is possible to still go to Baylor and not be accepted into the School of Music, and you can re-audition if you'd like. But just wanted to give you a heads up that if you want to study music at Baylor, you have to submit a separate application and audition for the School of Music. We do have academic minors. This one does not require an audition. So you can minor in music and it's an academic focus. So less performance, more on the theory, music history side. It's only 21 hours in your degree plan. And you still get to participate in the ensembles, and you can take more classes than what's required. But in order to complete the minor program, you don't have to audition, and it's less hours than a secondary major.
There are lots of opportunities for ensembles. You can see our bands, our choirs, orchestras, we have jazz ensembles, and then this little group in the bottom, the opera theater. Baylor Bronze is the handbell choir. Early music ensemble, they play on viols and recorders, and chamber music, that is for wind percussion and string instruments, not for choirs. And so there was a question in the Q&A about you want to continue playing your trumpet in Bugwub, and that is fantastic. You're going to want, Callan, who should he contact Stuart Ivy about if he's interested in Bugwub?
Right. So if you're interested in being in the marching band, if you have played in your high school marching band, you do not need to audition. All you do is fill out a contact form, which is on the marching band page under the School of Music website. So you fill out a contact form. If you've been playing for 4 years in a marching band, you don't have to audition. You just have to meet us at orientation, and we'll get you set up with a uniform and all the other things. So you won't have to audition unless you want to apply for the scholarship. We have a marching band scholarship that does require an audition. So if you have, thank you, Alejandro.
Thank you.
Here's the link for the marching band page. So if you want to continue playing your trumpet, absolutely. Dr. Hollingsworth, I don't know if you were going to mention that you can participate in all of our ensembles, whether you're a music major or a non-music major. There's no ensemble that is reserved for music majors. Anyone can be a part of it. You have to audition for all of them except for Baylor Bronze, which is the handbell and early music ensemble. You don't have to audition for those, but you have to audition for everything else.
And when it comes to the choirs, the men's choir, women's choir, and concert choir, you have to audition, but it's really just a placement.
Mm-hmm.
So they listen to you sing and they determine, oh, you're a soprano 2, or you're a tenor 1, or you're a bass, whatever. So when it says audition for those 3 choirs, the term is used loosely. But we have students, I know of a neuroscience major right now who's in the Baylor Symphony Orchestra. And so he's doing that. We also have students who, I know of a vocalist who's in a choir and she's in campus orchestra because she wanted to keep up her violin skills. So you can be in different types of ensembles. If you're going to minor in music, these ensembles can count towards your minor. So you might want to think about, should I just go ahead and be a music minor? I think that's worthy consideration, especially if you want to be in ensembles every year.
Mm-hmm.
Are there, it looks like, let me check the Q&A real fast. Is it a good idea to be in the marching band if you aren't pursuing a music career? Would it be too time consuming for things like pre-med programs?
I want to answer.
You have an answer? Okay, I have. All right.
Yes, I encourage, if you want to still play your instrument, absolutely. Our marching band is made up of 75% non-music majors. It is a great way to get to know people outside of your degree plan. You get to move in earlier to your dorm because the first week of school, instead of going to welcome week, you get to be with the marching band for the whole entire week. You get to meet people who play your same instrument, play other instruments. You spend all day with them learning how to march the Baylor way and what songs you get to play. Marching band is required for music education majors for 2 years, but it's not required for anyone else. So if you're a non-music major, it's not required. If you're a performance major, it's not required, but you can absolutely still do it, and I highly encourage doing it. It's so much fun. We play at all of the home games and then all of the in-state away games. If it's an out-of-state away game, then it's like a sign up to do it situation.
There are still some more Q&As popping up. One is there a limit to the number of ensembles you can be in at a time? The answer is no, but yes. There's only so many hours in the day, and each ensemble is a 1-hour credit, but it meets many more hours in a week. So Bugwub is a 1-hour credit, but it meets every Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. and every Saturday that you have a home game. So that's a large time commitment for a 1 hour class. I'm not trying to discourage you, but then you also have to think you're going to need study time. So maybe being in 4 ensembles is not a wise idea. I know with vocalists, you can only sing for so long. So that's a consideration. You can't sing. Usually 2 ensembles is where people kind of sit, 2 to 3, depending upon who you are you able to manage it, and there are other considerations. So, but even if you pick the 2 or 3, you can change them next semester. It doesn't matter. Okay, so there's a question about the marching band scholarship. How many marching band scholarships are awarded compared to the number of applicants? I personally don't know that because that's not me. And I don't know, Callan, if you know that answer.
I actually asked this question to our marching band director this past week. He has roughly around 200 people submit, and depending on how much money he has, roughly 70 will get a scholarship. It's a small scholarship. It's not like $5,000 for each applicant. It's a smaller scholarship, but free money is free money. So.
And what are the audition requirements if you want to audition for that scholarship?
You can go to that link in the chat, and it details it.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay, and then if you decide to join any of the choirs, are more classical pieces sung or other genre type of pieces? I think let me look at my choice again. I think with these are more classical with the exception of virtuoso. Virtuoso is like the Baylor pentatonics. So it's a cappella, and they make wow, wow, like, all the
beatboxing.
They do all the things. So virtuoso is, that's the only kind of pop music, and the others do lean more classical.
They do, but they still do some like current tunes. They mix it in depending on the concert that they're preparing for.
Yes.
And what the audience will be like. So it is more formal classical, but like the men's choir, they do like pop tunes sometimes.
Oh, that's
true. I will
true.
agree with like virtuoso. They do like the jazz arrangements and the beatboxing sounds that you mentioned.
Yeah, they do all the things. Yes, I think you should go ahead and fill out the contact form, even if you're unsure if you're attending Baylor, because that keeps you on our list. So we can certainly keep that in mind. And there was something else I was going to say, but I don't remember. So we will just keep going. Excuse me. Let's talk about some performing opportunities that are unique to Baylor. One of them is a competition called Sempra Pro Musica, which is where there are rounds and you play your pieces. There's a solo opportunity and an ensemble opportunity, and the winners get to perform at Carnegie Hall, and they are given an all expenses paid trip, compliments of our wonderful dean, to go to Carnegie Hall and perform. So this is one. Another one that we don't have a slide for is the concerto competition. So they often alternate years. It's Sempra Pro, and then it's going to be the concerto competition. So you get to play your piece with the orchestra or wind ensemble behind you. We do have guest artists who come in. They perform their art, basically. So we do have some funded programs that they're paid for. We also have master classes where we bring in people. Andre Thomas was just here this week, working with our choirs and doing a concert, and working with our conductors also.
Mm-hmm. Are there any more questions in the Q&A? We have about 5 minutes left.
You've asked some wonderful questions, so you can pop them in the chat or you can put them in the Q&A.
I can't see the Q&A.
I know, I'm looking. No one has posted anything yet. Do you want to go back to the ensemble screen? Because that seemed to be where there were a lot of questions. Is it possible to learn a secondary wind instrument with the timing requirements of music education? Oh, our friend Don, listen, When you're a music ed major, you have a primary instrument and you have a required secondary instrument. So if your voice, your automatic secondary instrument is going to be piano, and you have to take 4 semesters of piano. However, if you're a wind, percussion, or string player, you do have 2 semesters of piano, and then you have 2 other semesters of private lessons on an instrument, on a secondary instrument that you want to do. So sometimes our students who are maybe they want to be a woodwind specialist, so they play the clarinet, but they also take bassoon lessons or saxophone lessons as their secondary, or maybe they want to be a brass specialist. And one of our current students who will be student teaching in the fall, he has taken a semester of lessons on every instrument because he wants to just do it all. So I think his secondary is piano because that's what he's had. So yes, it is possible to learn a secondary instrument if you, with the timing. It's already built into your degree.
Right. In addition to all of the methods classes that you have to take. So at Baylor, we have methods classes for our education majors in which you'll spend a semester learning every single instrument. So you don't have to pick one woodwind and one brass, which is common at most universities. You get devoted time to each individual instrument, in which the professor will require you to be 8th grade proficiency level before you can pass that class.
Yes, and there is a question in the chat. I think this past year there were maybe close to 275, 300 band people. Do you live in the same residence hall? No, you don't. And yes, you do. You can take more than 2 semesters of lessons. If you're a music ed major, you're taking lessons on your primary instrument every semester until graduation. And then you can take as many other bonus lessons as you want. Okay, what is it?
Sorry, I wanted to mention that your secondary instrument lessons will be with a grad assistant.
If you're wind, percussion, or I guess you have voice too.
Yes, so if you, and on your secondary instrument, you like the only instrument that you will take with applied faculty members is your primary instrument. All of the other ones you're going to be studying with a grad student.
Okay, I have some more questions in the Q&A. What is it like to balance a music degree with the honors program, and do research opportunities look like? Listen, Rachel, we can be fast friends because I actually have an honors student right now, and I'm her advisor for her thesis. And she has already completed 1 research project, and she's completed 2, and now she's writing the report. We have this program called the Undergraduate Research Scholars Achievement Program, URSA. And so she wrote and won a $500 grant to conduct her second study. We co-presented a research poster session at TMEA, and we co-wrote an article for the Texas Music Educator Research Journal. We're still awaiting reply on that. So there are research opportunities for undergraduate music majors. You need to choose someone who can help you with whatever interests you at the time. So yes, we have lots of opportunities. And my student, we're actually going to Baton Rouge the weekend after Easter, so she can present her research there at a Discovery Day. So you have lots of opportunities to do research. It's actually pretty fun.
I wanted to take a second. I want to take a second before we run out of time to mention an event called Bear Shadow, which is a day that we have only run by the School of Music, in which you can come to the campus and be a music major for a day. You can observe theory classes. You have a personalized schedule based off of your interests. So when you register for Bear Shadow, which right now is a free event, so sign up while you can. Signups will be sometime over the summer and in the fall. But Bear Shadow is a free event. You get a personalized schedule based off of your interests, where you can observe a theory class, observe a music history class, ensemble rehearsals, meet with faculty members, participate in studio days. So like all of the flute players get together and you get to go in there too, and you all play like flute music together, or you hear from the flute professor talking to her studio about what they're learning. And so Bear Shadow is a great event for prospective students. If you want to learn or feel what it's like to be a music major for a day, that's a great event to go to.
And there was a question, it's like, if you're afraid, what if you're afraid of majoring in music, or you have stage fright? So I sent a brief answer, but Callan, if you could briefly talk about that, and then we're going to have to zip off.
Yes, I myself have stage fright. I never ever got used to performing in front of people. That's just something that you have to do as a musician. You have to perform. I was more comfortable performing with people than by myself. But the more you do it, the more your body will learn how to push through that feeling. The feeling for me never went away, but I practiced putting my body in the feelings that I get when I am nervous, and practice how to play when my body feels that way. So I would literally sprint around the music building, go to my practice room and play. I played the flute, so I would play my performance while I was out of breath and my heart was beating fast. So even though I never got over the anxious feeling of performing, at least I could practice how to still give a good performance under pressure. And it's still required of you. You're not going to get around any of the performance needs to get your degree, but you can learn how to push through that. And then that same kind of practice will relate to other areas of your life. If you're nervous about doing something or you don't want to do something, it'll really teach you how to push through the feelings, the unnatural, unwanted feelings that you get. That's the great thing about studying music, is it's going to prepare you in so many other areas of your life.
Have a great rest of your visit. We look forward to seeing you face to face on campus soon. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.